According to spoilers for the upcoming 2 weeks of February 1 to 12 on Young and the Restless, Chancellor, Donnie Bose, has terrible news for his wife. In addition, Brittany Sarpy's character Elena Dawson requests assistance in teasing 2 males. See what the CBS soap opera's February sweets will bring. According to spoilers, Elena Dawson may have difficulties in the future. She shared a bed with Bryton James's character, Devon Hamilton. However, she continues to have problems with his obsession with Amanda Sinclair, Michelle Morgan, Hillary's twin. Elena advises Devon to keep it a secret this week. Then, according to Young and the Restless teasers, Elena is taken away for a romantic weekend by Nate Hastings, seen Dominic. On Guy and R, she is in bed with the 2 attractive men back to back, which raises the question of whether she will become pregnant without knowing the father. According to previews for Young and the Restless, Chancellor brings bad news to Abby Newman, Melissa Ordway, when she gets home. They are unable to create an embryo to implant in Maria Copeland, Cameron Grimes, because Chance's sperm count is low. When Chancellor tells Abby, she is devastated. However, according to Young and the Restless spoilers, Chance is the most distraught of all. Chancellor had a strong desire to become a parent. Chance did say the illness might get better though. Otherwise, Abby's poor luck with Chancellor and his depressed swimmers will continue. Bill Spencer, Don Diamond, will be in Genoa City for the Bold crossover event over the course of the next 2 weeks on Guy and R. You can bet that Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, is shaking in her boots when he shows there. Additionally, Tyler Johnson's character, Theo Vanderway, is arriving in town with a secret. According to Young and the Restless spoilers, Theo will be the one to tell Sally about Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer. However, Phyllis perceives the other redhead as a danger and is prepared to attack. Additionally, it concerns not only her daughter but also Jack Abbott, played by Peter Bergman, on Guy and R on CBS. According to teasers for Young and the Restless, Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, is fed up with the conflicts within the family. It's time for a family meal, the mustache informs his grown children. However, his 2 eldest children are unwilling to share a meal with Adam Newman, Mark Grossman. Young and the Restless spoilers indicate that Victor is adamant. Additionally, he will issue an ultimatum to Victoria, Amelia Heinel. She has her sights set on Jason Thompson's character, Billy Abbott, her former. She will also detest Victor's desire for Adam to return to the Newman family business. Explained in spoilers, Jordi Villasuso's character Ray Rosales discovers evidence that Faith Newman, Olivia Allen Lind, has returned to drinking. As a result, Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, asks a friend who is a therapist to give her daughter advice. Joshua Morrow's character Nick Newman concurs that's the finest. However, Faith lashes out at them. Watch as Faith rejects her family's offers of support, and her spiral becomes worse on Young and the Restless spoilers. Chancellor is also dissatisfied because their hopes for a child seem to be dashed. The kind of catastrophe that upends relationships, rewrites futures, and leaves viewers gaping at their screens is about to happen in Genoa City. Chancellor, Connor Floyd, and Elena Dawson, Brittany Sarpy, 2 characters who have both been searching for meaning and connection in the midst of heartbreak, will be the focus of 2 exciting weeks on the Young and the Restless. This time though, their bond might ignite more than either of them had anticipated. New Y and R spoilers indicate that there will be a startling development within the following 2 weeks. Just as Elena begins to exhibit some surprising physical indications that suggest pregnancy, Chance learns he may not be able to conceive, which puts him into an emotional tailspin. A dramatic, "Who's the daddy?" setup ensues, which has the potential to develop into one of the most surprising love triangles on the program in 2025. Under the surface, Chancellor is having difficulties, but Genoa City is a riot of fall hues and its typical tension. He has been a detective, a hero, and a man attempting to get past trauma. However, a sense of continuity, not simply romance, has been lacking lately. He longs for a stable, genuine family. The 2 had developed a tight and discreet relationship after months of becoming closer to Elena. Chance's candor has been consoling to Elena, who has been coping with her own wounds from failed relationships and a career identity dilemma. For once, She feels seen since he listens and does not pass judgment. As their late-night heart-to-hearts at Crimson Lights evolved into something more personal, their slow, smoldering, and passionate chemistry has been growing. Few anticipated it to become this serious so quickly, but fans have seen the sparks fly. The issue? The newly discovered happiness of the pair is set to encounter a cruel obstacle. In a future episode, Chance goes to the doctor for what he believes is a standard examination because of residual injuries from his perilous past, the mission that almost killed him and caused tension in his marriage to Abby Newman, Belissa Ordway. However, the appointment takes an unexpected turn. Chance's doctor quietly reveals after analyzing test findings that his injuries and the trauma he experienced abroad may have permanently impacted his fertility. He receives the news like a freight train. Being informed that he might never father a biological kid feels like a betrayal of everything he has battled for as a man who has centered his life on service, protection, and legacy. As Chance sits in stunned silence, reliving all of his dreams about starting a family, Connor Floyd is ready to give a tragic performance. It's a moment that reveals his greatest weakness and tears away his strong facade. Elena is sympathetic when he eventually confides in her, but she's actually shaken. They had only started talking about what their future together would entail. Everything feels precarious now. Elena, meantime, begins to notice something strange. She's feeling more exhausted than normal, her appetite has changed, and she finds it difficult to concentrate when doing hospital rounds. She initially attributes it to stress or lengthy shifts, but she pauses because of a persistent sickness. She purchases a pregnancy test, conceals it in her handbag, and makes an effort to ignore the idea. Chance just informed her that he is unable to have children after all. Isn't that impossible? However, I&R storytelling tradition and soap logic argue otherwise. Elena's hands shake when she finally takes the test. Just one line. Next to, she is expecting a child. All of her preconceived notions about her life and her relationship with Chance abruptly collapse into doubt. It gets considerably messier from here. Even after their breakup, viewers recall that Elena and Nate Hastings, seen Dominic, had an inexplicable bond for months. Their interactions have been infrequent but intense. Quick looks at the hospital, brief moments of intimacy, and one impetuous evening when they went beyond a boundary neither of them could fully comprehend. They might now be haunted by that night, which was never mentioned again. Elena is forced to confront the terrifying idea that the baby may not be Chance's as the pregnancy test confirms what she cannot deny. She is thrown into turmoil by the emotional weight of that discovery. She is caught between being honest and being afraid, between facing her own guilt and keeping Chance's heart safe. She is aware that telling him now, after he has already admitted to his infertility grief, could cause irreparable damage to him. However, in Genoa City, secrecy has never remained buried for very long. The tension increases across the village as the second week progresses. Elena makes an effort to concentrate on her profession, but every patient she cares for and every infant she sees in the hospital nursery makes her realize the secret she is keeping. Chance's kind smile and sincere affection make her heart hurt even more when he stops by to surprise her with lunch. "You're the only thing that makes sense in my life," he tells her. She almost cries at that point. She confides in Devin, Brighton James, who is astonished to learn that Elena may be pregnant because she can't keep the information to herself. Devin advises her to consider her options carefully before assuming anything. He gently reminds her of the hurt that concealment caused them years ago when he says, "You don't even know for sure who the father is." Elena nods, tears in her eyes. "I understand. I can't ruin Chance though. Not in this manner." Before making any judgments, Devin, who is always the moral compass, advises her to discreetly obtain a paternity test. Theo Vanderway, Tyler Johnson, unexpectedly reappears during this 2-week period, which could unintentionally make Elena's predicament even more difficult. Elena runs into Theo at Society, who is back in town to cause trouble over Abbott. He overhears a heated phone conversation between Elena and her doctor, as he is always the gossip magnet. He later makes the cryptic remark to Chance that Elena has a lot on her plate lately, which may or may not be harmless. All it takes for suspicion to grow is that Chance becomes aware of Alina's aloof demeanor, her rambling chatter, her occasional avoidance of his contact. His instincts, which he has developed over the years as a detective, are subtle at first, but they soon start to work. What is she not telling me? He starts to wonder. Abby unintentionally reappears in the plot as all of this is going on. At Crimson Lights, she encounters Chance, who is obviously burdened. She offers to listen out of worry and reassures him that she will always be concerned about his happiness, regardless of their past. He talks candidly about his infertility issues and how difficult it has been to come to terms with the possibility that he would never become a father. Touched and emotional, Abby gives words of support, yet her eyes flicker subtly as she speaks. Abby is all too familiar with navigating the challenges of infertility and complex parenthood. After all, she didn't build her family the old-fashioned way. Devin helped her do it. Abby's intuition takes over when Chance brings up Alina's recent distance. Perhaps she's afraid, Abby says. It might not be what you think if she is hiding something from you. The seed is sown, but Chance initially dismisses it. After returning to her flat, Alina gets a call from the clinic confirming her fears. She is about 6 weeks pregnant, which coincides with the moment she and Nate had their unexpected meeting. The math is honest. The guilt is unbearable. She is aware that she cannot carry on the act for very long. However, how does she explain that she is pregnant and that the child may not be hers to Chance, a guy who recently learned that he is unable of fathering children? Clutching her stomach, Elena sobs and murmurs, "What have I done?" It's one of the arc's most poignant passages, with Brittany Sarpy delivering a heartbreaking, unvarnished performance that flawlessly conveys Alina's suffering. Chance, meantime, starts looking into it on his own because he feels something is off, not because he is suspicious. Since she has always been his reassuring voice, he confides in Sharon Case. Give her space if you love her, she counsels with compassion, but be prepared for whatever the truth may be. Chance heeds her counsel, but not before discovering an abandoned prescription slip in Alina's handbag that indicates she has recently seen the OB-GYN. It dawns on her that she is expecting. Once more, his world tilts. He initially experiences an odd mixture of elation and incredulity. Were the physicians mistaken? After all, might he be a father? However, the excitement soon gives way to mistrust. What kept Alina from telling him? With the crumpled scrap of paper in his fingers, Chance meets Alina in her apartment as the 2-week stretch's last episode comes to a cliffhanger. He whispers, "You've been hiding something from me. Alina, tell me the truth."